Please save us, Max Brosner. Hello, Commanders. Automatic Gamer here, and yeah, no one knows who's good in the NFC North or who's good in general in the NFL. We have it's week 13, and we still have a lot to figure out. Oh my gosh, when is this going to end? It probably won't end, let's be honest. But yeah, welcome to my week 13 NFL predictions, and let's attempt to clean up this mess, and it'll probably just get messier and messier as soon as we get into the postseason. And let's start things off with what's going to happen on Thanksgiving. Starting off with Thanksgiving with our first game, we have, of course, no shocker here, the Green Bay Packers against the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. No surprise there. And Lions and Packers, of course, both winning last week, and of course, both teams, Packers beat us, unfortunately, which shouldn't have happened. But of course, we're not the greatest team right now, but of course, who knows? That could turn things around, of course, and, the Packers don't know this, and I don't want them to know this. Every time the Packers do beat the Vikings, they get a little bit of a weekend attached to them, and do get a little cursed, and, well, the good news is the Packers don't know this, and Tom Grassi doesn't know this. Do not tell him about that anyway. That's true. They do get cursed, but the Packers don't know that, so that's a good thing. And of course, yeah, beat the Vikings, but they don't have a favorable schedule, and they're still dealing with some injuries. And Jordan Love has a little bit of a shoulder injury going for him, so who knows if he's even going to be playing or if he's going to get beat up next week, and he probably will be. And yeah, going up against the Lions, and of course, not having a favorable schedule for them, it's not going to look good at all. And like I said, the Packers are getting a little bit weaker on their team. So, yeah, this is the chance for the Vikings to rise up and for justice to come back into this world. And of course, for the Lions, they, of course, kept it close against the Giants, but ended up winning off a Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown in overtime. And of course, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, they all had very, very good games going into that. And of course, the defense is still very good for both teams. I would say the Packers defense is a little worse than the Lions just because of how both structured the teams are. But this game, usually sometimes it'll come down to the wire because with division rivals, obviously you never know, but just because, yeah, it's a division rival game, NFC North, very competitive. Well, I don't know if it's competitive this year because no one knows what the F is going on, and both teams are having an identity crisis, except for maybe the except for maybe the Lions. The Bears. Packers and Lions both having an identity crisis, which is not good. They're trying to still figure things out, and yeah. But yeah, for this game, since it still could go either way, even though the Lions do hate Thanksgiving because things happen. I'm just gonna say that. I want to pick the Meteor and pray they tie because honestly, it'd be super funny if that happened. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions to get this win for this game. But if they end up tying, oh my god, I would laugh, and that would be so funny. That would be the perfect weekend. So if they tie, that would be awesome. But I'm gonna say Lions win. Then for your next Thanksgiving game, because there's 3 that day, and then I'll talk about the Black Friday game in a little bit here. You got the Chiefs going up against the Cowboys. The Chiefs, and, well, both them and the Cowboys able to battle back against their opponents. Chiefs able to battle back from a 9-point deficit against the Colts. Their defense is just phenomenal, and, well, I think they're just really happy to have to get this win and still trying to be able to compete in that 3-way race in the AFC West. And I'm still praying that the Broncos can knock off the Patriots and still get that number 1 seed in the AFC, or maybe it'll be the Bills. Those are the two teams in the AFC that I want to get the number 1 seed. But yeah, Chiefs able to battle back against the Broncos. The defense is obviously phenomenal, playing I don't want to say godly, but it still is a very, very good defense. And I always thought the number 1 defense in the NFL this year was the Cleveland Browns, but I think turns out it's the Houston Texans because what they were able to do with the Bills in that game. But yeah, I mean, yeah, able to battle back against the Colts. Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones, able to do absolutely nothing in that next half of that game against the Chiefs. And yeah, they ended up winning. And of course, same with the Cowboys. I mean, Eagles could maybe blame their head coach or their offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, or Nick Sirianni, but I don't know. I don't know whose fault it is. There's a lot of factors I think that Eagles are going to be blaming for that 21-24 collapse lead, especially when it was halftime, 21-0, and then the Cowboys end up scoring 21 unanswered points, and then Brandon Aubrey sealed the game with a game-winning kick field goal, sending the game 24-21, Cowboys winning. And yeah, for this game, I could honestly probably seeing it being competitive because of how both teams operate, not only with the offense and defense, but honestly, I could see it being competitive regardless of that. Maybe because of both quarterbacks, because of how both Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes both operate in that offense, and of course how they're going to be operating in the pocket if they have time to throw the ball, which they probably will. I mean, given that both defenses do shine either way regardless. But yeah, this one, I mean, it's really hard to predict. I don't know where it's being played. I mean, that could decide both these things, but yeah, for this game, just because I think, I mean, maybe it'll be a defensive battle, who knows, but yeah, for this game, for my final prediction, even though it's difficult to understand how both these teams are going to operate, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to get this win. And Cowboys, yeah, it's not your year. Let's just say that. It's not your year, Cowboys. Next, for your final Thanksgiving game for Thanksgiving night, you got a AFC North showdown. You got the Baltimore Ravens going up against Cincinnati Bengals. And, well, Bengals able to keep it like a pretty close, tight race against the Patriots. Yeah, of course, Joe Flacco, I know he's still very good, even though he threw a pick six in that game, and so did Drake May for the Patriots. But I mean, they still played pretty well, and their defense took a step up for the Cincinnati Bengals, which is great. And I know it's probably going to stink next year if they don't have Trey Hendrickson on the defense. So, yeah, that's pretty poor for the Bengals. And at this point, I think they're just waiting for the season to end and hope next time is better with Joe Burrow hopefully being back. They just don't want him to play, I think, the rest of the year, even with him being back from that injury that he had earlier in the year in week 2. But yeah, the Bengals going up against the Ravens, and the Ravens, of course, getting back to their winning ways. I mean, even if Lamar Jackson isn't playing up to his full potential and ability, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, the Ravens, of course, leading the division now, not shocking there. I mean, because I know you got Lamar Jackson, even if he isn't playing to the best of his ability. You still got King Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and you got still a formidable, really good defense. And I mean, I don't know how good the secondary is. I've heard it's actually pretty passable and pretty good. So, I mean, with that, that's already really good for the Ravens. So, yeah, for this game, just because they have a way better of a defense and a high-powered offense, I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens to get this win. And Bengals, you're probably just waiting for next year. Then, on Black Friday, this could be honestly and maybe an interesting game, but who knows? On Black Friday, you got the Chicago Bears facing off against the Philadelphia Eagles. This will be a huge test for potentially both teams. But yeah, I mean, this game, it could be interesting because, well, one, the Bears, they're still leading in the NFC North. I don't know what the hell is going on with them. Ben Johnson is clearly the head coach. He's clearly the guy. Caleb Williams is showing all these flashes and all this potential that he can be their quarterback. And, well, yeah, that's nice for them. But, yeah, going up against this Philadelphia Eagles squad who really couldn't, did everything that they could in the first half, but could do absolutely nothing against the Dallas Cowboys in the second half. And still losing that game off that field goal. Not great, obviously, and I think they still want Kevin Patullo, their offensive coordinators, gone. Who knows if they still want Nick Sirianni fired or not. But, yeah, for this game, this will be a true test, I think, still for both teams. More so, I think, for the Bears. Because, it's still really hard and difficult to beat the Eagles. But, yeah, for this game, if they can get Saquon Barkley going with Jalen Hurts and everybody else, I think the Philadelphia Eagles can probably squeeze out a win here over the Chicago Bears. So, yeah, for this game, I got to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to get this win. And Bears, just let the Vikings take the reins for a little bit, please. Then you got the LA Rams facing off against the Carolina Panthers. The Rams, Matthew Stafford, probably going to win MVP this season. And honestly, if he wins MVP, I'm not going to be shocked, and I don't blame him. He is a phenomenal quarterback. It's basically him and Devontae Adams, and you got Puka Nacua. That trio is unstoppable, and so is their team. They are just amazing. Their offense is really good. Their defense is phenomenal. Their secondary is great. And yeah, there's a lot of things I got to say about the Rams. And able to absolutely beat down on the Buccaneers. They were able to do absolutely nothing in that game. And it sucks that Baker Mayfield had to be injured. And I know Teddy Bridgewater came in at half. But yeah, still able to do nothing against this Rams defense. And yeah, going up against the Carolina Panthers, who are still, they're still, even though they lost, there's still a bit of optimism going on with the Panthers. And I know Bryce Young threw 2 interceptions, and it was a ugly, ugly game for both teams because, well, both offenses, 49ers and Panthers, they could not get anything going. And of course, constant turnovers here and there, but I think this will be way, way different because you're going up against a high-powered offense in the LA Rams with Matthew Stafford at the helm at quarterback, and they have a really good defense and a very good secondary. But yeah, for this game, unless they're able to get activating Rico Donald and Hubbard, that could give the Panthers some breathing room, but for this game, I have to go with the LA Rams to get this win. And Panthers, you've had a pretty decent season as of now, but yeah, the Rams are a definite for real team and definitely could be the MVP of the league. Then we got San Francisco 49ers facing off against Cleveland Browns. Hey, I just talked about one of these guys. The 49ers, like I was mentioning, Brock Purdy on his second game back, throwing 3 interceptions, and people were saying Mac Jones come in at halftime, and of course that didn't happen, even though they won off a pretty ugly game. Ugly game other than, maybe defense was decent, but the offense, man, it was a struggle. It was a struggle on Monday Night Football against the Carolina Panthers. And, well, for 49ers fans, they're just, I think, happy that Brock Purdy's back. But also, they don't want him, I don't think, to throw 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions in one game. So I think maybe it'll be way easier going up against the Cleveland Browns. My only issue is going to be that defense, especially with guys like Myles Garrett on the Browns defense, and of course, Shedeur Sanders last week. I think he played really, really well, getting a couple touchdowns in, throwing a pair of touchdowns. Of course, having guys like Quinshon Judkins, of course, in that run game for the Cleveland Browns is just awesome to have for a run game to get that established. Of course, having Myles Garrett and, of course, a phenomenal defense, which give the 49ers a little bit of a struggle going into that game. But honestly, still, because I think because the 49ers still got Brock Purdy, you still got CMC and everyone else like that. I mean, I got to go with the 49ers to get this win. But if the Browns win, but if it's off their defense, I wouldn't be surprised just because their defense is that good. But yeah, for this game, I got to go with the 49ers to get this win. And Browns, you still have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Next, we got a AFC South showdown. This could be interesting because of the number 1 defense. You got the Houston Texans facing off against the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, like I mentioned last week, blew that lead. Indiana Jones and Jonathan Taylor could not get anything going. And, well, for the Colts, they're just seeing right now if they can get back to their winning ways and still win the AFC South. But, yeah, it's going to be a difficult task because going up against this number 1 defense in the Houston Texans, it might be a little bit of a struggle. And, of course, with Mills still at the helm at QB, it's not bad. And I think they're just maybe they're waiting for still CJ Stroud to come back. But, I mean, Mills, he's been serviceable, I think, for these past couple games. I think he has because, I mean, their offense is still not great at all to the lightest. And, I mean, I know their defense is still awesome, number 1 in the NFL, but the offense is bad. I mean, they're just wanting to switch that up and be like, all right, can we actually fix this before the end of the season? And it could be possible, but I just don't think they can, even though, I mean, the Colts have an amazing offense and really good defense and, of course, really good run game. And Daniel Jones is, of course, playing, of course, efficient football, dominant quarterback. Unless you're a Giants fan, then you don't like this at all. But yeah, for this game, even though the Texans have a top-tier defense, I think the Colts, just because they have a high-powered and a really good offense with a very good run game with Jonathan Taylor, I got to go with the Indianapolis Colts and Indiana Jones to get this win. And Texans, you just need to rework your offense, and then you'll be a very good team in the NFL. Next, you have the Miami Dolphins facing off against the New Orleans Saints. The Dolphins coming off a bye week, which is great. You're able to get healthier. Tua Tagovailoa doesn't have to worry about getting concussions, so that's good. But still refuses to wear a concussion-proof helmet, which, not great. But I know, of course, you still got Devin Achane and Jalen Waddle, so that's pretty awesome. Going up against this Saints team with Tyler Shook, even though he did look decent and kind of good here and there last week, I mean, Saints are still trying to figure out a lot of things on the team, and they're trying to see, like, who's going to be our guy? Is it Tyler Shook, or are we going to have to look for someone else in the draft next year? Because I know one of the only factors that they got on their team is Tyler Shook and Chris Olave. But, yeah, that's that. I mean, their offense isn't the greatest. Their defense isn't great. Their secondary is bad. And, well, yeah, for this game, the Dolphins may be looking like they off maybe this game, or if they're off the rest of the schedule, since it's sort of favorable, the Dolphins may look like they might turn things around, and if they could squeeze into the playoffs. Do I think it's going to happen? There's a chance. That's all I'm going to say there. But yeah, for this game, I got to go with the Miami Dolphins to get this win because if they're able to establish the run with Devin Achane and, of course, get Jalen Waddle going, that'll be a phenomenal boost to their team. And, of course, if Tua Tagovailoa doesn't suffer a concussion, this will be very good for the Miami Dolphins. So, Miami Dolphins, you get this win, and also just Tua, don't get another concussion, please. Then we got the Atlanta Falcons facing off against New York Jets. The Falcons. Who knows anymore? Kirk Cousins is at QB and going up against Justin Fields and this Jets team. We still don't know who the Falcons are, and obviously I know you wonder about a lot of things. When Michael Penix is going to come back, but I know you still got pretty good run game. You have a hit or miss offense, which is not great. You don't have the best defense in the league and not the best secondary either. But also going up against this Jets team, I think this is winnable, especially with Justin Fields at your QB position because not the greatest, even though just traded a few players like Sauce Gardner and all that, which isn't bad, but I think did weaken them up a little bit, even though they did end up winning, I think, their last game that they did play. So that's something at least, but yeah. Going up against this Falcons team, which I think is a little bit better put together, but still in a little bit of a mess, I gotta go with the Atlanta Falcons to get this win. And Jets, who knows at this point? Then you got the Arizona Cardinals facing off against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both these teams, of course, losing last week. Cardinals losing off just with 2 points off their 22 that they scored. And, of course, I know with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, which still is pretty good, and I think he's just a tad bit better than Kyler Murray because we knew his ceiling coming into this year. And, of course, for the Buccaneers, getting still more injuries even after trying to get some guys back. Tampa Bay Buccaneers going out with Teddy Bridgewater in the second half, which still able to get nothing going after Baker Mayfield went down with that shoulder injury. So who knows if he's going to play the rest of this year, or who knows how bad that injury to his shoulder is. And honestly, I feel bad for the Buccaneers because, well, they're a beat-up team. They just lost Baker Mayfield, their franchise quarterback. And, yeah, I just feel bad for the Buccaneers. But, honestly, going up against the Cardinals team, this is a winnable game because of how the Cardinals have been looking in these past few weeks and only getting a couple wins. And, I mean, yeah, for this game, if Teddy Bridgewater can make some magic happen in Tampa Bay for this Buccaneers team, this could end up being something really good and something really happy. So I got to go with Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get this win. And just get healthy. That's all I'm saying. Just get healthy. Then you got another AFC South showdown. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans able to sort of crawl their way back in that game with the Seattle Seahawks. But, I mean, still, of course, losing to Sam Darnold and JSN. But, yeah, the Titans, I think they just want protection for their quarterback because offense is awful. It's pitiful to watch. And it's except if you're Titans fans, it's still pretty miserable, which actually kind of sucks. Defense isn't great. Their secondary is awful. It's decent, but it's still passable, which is not great. They got a lot of things to improve upon. And going up against a Jacksonville Jaguars team that, who knows still what's going on with Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence and, of course, Travis Hunter. And who knows what's going on with their offense, their defense, their secondary. Who knows, mate? I mean, I don't know, because one time they'll look really good and still being competitive in the AFC South. But I don't know fully their identity of their team, because I think they still can be good in the AFC. And yeah, going up against this Titans team who can't really offer much protection to their quarterback in Cam Ward, I got to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars to get this win. And Titans, just work on your quarterback protection, and then you'll probably be pretty good. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings facing off against Seattle Seahawks. The Vikings, of course, not what we wanted last week. We thought we were going to do it, but we ended up losing to a beat-up Packers team. And, of course, I mean, I know they're still having an identity crisis. They're finally utilizing Micah Parsons, but in the worst way possible, sacking J.J. McCarthy. And now J.J. McCarthy is in concussion protocol. And so the ship, who's going to steer this vessel now? Well, it's going to be Max Brosner at quarterback. And, of course, going up against our former quarterback in Sam Darnold and JSN, it's going to be a tough task. But I know there hasn't really seen much of course, J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosner. But one thing that is a positive, Max Brosner has a little bit more experience than J.J. McCarthy. And, of course, if he does really well in this game, and with all the flashes that he's shown when he's been on the field in preseason and in the regular season, this might be something we need. One, a breath of fresh air, and two, this could be a good thing. A quarterback controversy, because if he does really well, there could be a quarterback controversy on who's going to start for the remainder of the year. Although I do think it will be Max Brosner who starts for the rest of these games. And I know these rest of these games that we have on our schedule, they are very winnable. So potentially it could happen. We could squeeze out to a 10-7 record. Hopefully we pray every day and we ask the force, like, hey, can the Vikings please get a 10-7 record and hopefully squeeze into the postseason and actually still be good? But yeah, that could happen. If Brosner lights things up, even though it is being played in Seattle, and well, if he can light things up and we can turn this around off a favorable ending season schedule, yeah, this could be something that hopefully ends up being really good. And yeah, for this game, I have to go with the Minnesota Vikings to get this win. And for J.J. McCarthy, one, just get healthy, and also I think he'll maybe do way better coming into next year, because I think he'll have more time to rest and a little bit more time to learn. And I just feel sorry for our 22-year-old quarterback. Then we got the LA Chargers going up against the Vegas Raiders. The Chargers. Well, still trying to keep that race going on in the AFC West. Justin Herbert still doing really good. Lan McConkey being really good. They have a phenomenal run game going, so that's awesome to have. Have a very solid defense, very good secondary. And this may be a very simple game going up against this Vegas Raiders team. Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, I don't think they're what the solution is. I think there may be a stopgap, even if Pete Carroll does stick around at head coach. And for the Raiders, getting absolutely demolished by the Cleveland Browns, because of a top-tier defense in the NFL. And this might be a really long day for Vegas Raiders fans because you're going up against a really good quarterback in Justin Herbert, who has a very consistent and solid run game and a very good pack of wide receivers, and still a really good offense and defense over this game. I got to go with the LA Chargers to get this win. And Raiders fans, you might have to search for a different quarterback coming into the next year and maybe visit the draft or free agency to shop for one. Then we got the Buffalo Bills facing off against Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers losing, of course, to the Chicago Bears. Mason Rudolph came in at quarterback. Still able to put up a decent fight against this Caleb Williams led team. And I mean, Mason Rudolph, he can be a good quarterback here and there. There's sometimes where he's like, I can just say that, but yeah. There is times where he is good. And I mean, going up against this Bills team who their defense still good, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. And of course, you're not going up against the Texans defense, so that's really nice. But yeah, able to get nothing going against this Texans defense. Josh Allen got sacked 8 times in that game, which is just awful. James Cook got nothing going, but I think it'll be a little bit easier going up against this Steelers team with Mason Rudolph at the helm. Because I think if Josh Allen and James Cook are able to get things going and connected, they can win this game. Because I think it's different being played with a team that has a lesser defense than the Houston Texans. So I think for this game, just because their defense isn't really up to where it should be or up to where it is, I have to go with the Buffalo Bills to get this win. But you know the Steelers, Mike Tomlin has to have his winning record. But yeah, Buffalo Bills, you get this win. Then on Sunday Night Football, primetime, you got the Denver Broncos facing off against the Washington Commanders. The Broncos. Well, first off, I think the Commanders, I think they're on a bye, so they were just waiting to rest up and get healthy. So that's something at least still without Jane Daniels. And I think you're just waiting for maybe the season to end if you're a Commanders fan, because this season hasn't gone that well at all, because what happened last year hasn't translated well to what happened this year with everything that you did in the offseason. Getting more protection for your quarterback, getting a beefed up defense, and yeah, everything has just been going wrong. And going up against a Denver Broncos team with Bo Nix at the helm, and going up against a top-tier defense and a top-tier secondary, this might be a really rough day for Commanders fans. And Broncos, really good offense, really good defense, really good secondary, have a great quarterback in Bo Nix, who always believes. And yeah, for this game, going to be a hopefully really good game for the Denver Broncos. They'll probably maybe be able, because this will be easier, be able to show up for a full 4 quarters of football and maybe be able to put this game away by halftime. Who knows? But yeah, you never know with the Broncos if they show up in the 4th quarter or for a full 4 quarters. But yeah, for this game, I got to go with the Denver Broncos to get this win. And Commanders, I think they're just waiting for the season to end. Then finally, on Monday Night Football primetime, you got the New York Giants facing off against New England Patriots. So the Giants are going up against the resurging evil empire of the New England Patriots. I don't know. I feel like Patriots fans have a little bit extra hatred for the Giants just because they beat them in the Super Bowl a few years ago. Or, well, actually twice. But still, that's in the past, but I don't think Patriots fans have let that go. So, yeah, this might be a really interesting game. I mean, I know you're still going with Jameis Winston at QB. Yeah, unless you somehow are able to get Jackson Dart back off his injury that he has. I think it's a concussion that he has, and I honestly, I kind of feel bad for Giants because one, Jackson Dart, your quarterback, is out, and also Cam Scadaboo is still injured for the rest of the year. So that's not good, but going up against this Patriots team with Drake May, Stephon Diggs, and everyone else on the offense, defense, and secondary, this might be a really tough game and tough day for Giants fans, but they used to give them problems in the past, so it wouldn't surprise me if the Giants end up winning this game. I think it'd be really funny if that happens. But yeah, for this game, I have to go with the New England Patriots. Hopefully by saying this, that the Giants will end up winning, because if the Giants win, I will be laughing, and this will be awesome that the Empire is starting to slow down with their emerging fleet of Star Destroyers and everything else. And hopefully they don't end up rebuilding the Death Star by the time the playoffs come in and hit. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my predictions heading into week 13 of this NFL season. Who knows if everything will be solved by the end of this week? Nothing will probably change. Who knows? But also, if you guys want to talk more football with me, subscribe to my channel and join my Discord. The link will be in the description. And I will see you on the football field, Commanders.